Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now, God Loki is available in two different flavors, Artisan and Standard. I have popped some links to Pop Collectibles in the description below. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I've also included a discount code, Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new figure preview video goes live on the channel. Now, at the time of filming this preview video, we are yet to see an actual release of an Artisan figure. So, right now they're all on pre-order. We have no idea if they're going to turn out looking like the prototypes, or if they're going to be better, or if they're going to be worse. Fingers crossed that isn't the case. We will just have to wait and see. Now, Loki does come with a full array of hands, and some of the best looking effects that I've ever seen from them. The hands themselves are also very well detailed. We've got all this subtle wrinkling and skin texture, and you can even make out the bagginess of the skin between the thumb and the forefinger on these splayed out finger hands. But you see the ones there with the little grabbing effects wrapped around them? Look how they've added the glow to the inside of the hand. That is so freaking clever. I love to see them experimenting with object source lighting like this, and going forward, please Hot Toys, do more of it. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, object source lighting is when you simulate a light up effect with paint. So you don't have to rely on LEDs, no button cell batteries, no USB cables. The figure is painted to look like the time stream branches are glowing permanently in his hands. And because they're cast in translucent plastic, light passes through them, and they should cast a bit of a glow onto his hands on top of the painted effect. So, yeah, this is awesome. I'm all for OSL. I want to see more of it, like I already said. Now, the time stream branches are huge. So, unless you have an absolutely massive cabinet and you want to have God Loki sitting in the middle of it, I don't know, man. I just don't think a ton of people are going to have the room to display this because I sure as shit know that I don't. As cool as these are, I'm probably going to go with one of the other effect pieces, or maybe I'll just end up having Loki sitting on the golden throne. The effects are dope, love to see them. They might just be relegated to the box due to the amount of width they will command in the cabinet. Speaking of the golden throne, this looks beautiful. Now, normally I do complain about the stupid diamond bases. And if you don't use the throne, then yes, all of my previous complaints, they stand with this guy too. But, if you do have him on the throne, this makes sense to me. You want a nice, wide, big footprint platform to have the throne sitting on, then you can have Loki sitting on it, and it'll work. Ditch the throne, not so much. So I do still wish they also would include a normal, just a compact hexagonal base. At the end of the day, most people are probably going to have him sitting on the chair, so I reckon they do get away with it. The chair itself is very well painted. Look at those shoes. I mean, Loki is potentially going to be sitting on that throne forever, right? Like eternity. So he wants to be comfortable, and that's why he's gone with the God loafers. The leather grain texture is gorgeous, very, very sharp, and it's got this almost cinched, quilted looking stitching effect all the way around the shoe, and then the sole is a separate piece of black plastic. And you also have a bit of his foot poking out from over the top of it, which is well sculpted, and there's skin texture, and his pants do ride quite low, so you don't see the ankle joint unless you have him in a sitting pose and you haven't adjusted the trousers. which is something that they have unfortunately done at Secret Base. Don't worry about it, the pants are nice and loose and baggy, they're straight fabric. You can adjust everything so you can cover up the wrist pegs and the ankle joints. As you can see, even sitting down on the chair front on, totally fine, you can't see any ankle connectors whatsoever. I am curious if they're going to go with a double ball peg or a hinge and swivel though. Recently, they have been giving us more hinges and swivels. I don't know that I like that. I mean, right there. You can see the split in the pants, revealing the ankle connector, which does look an awful lot like a hinge and swivel. Are we married to the hinge and swivel hot toys? I mean, there is still time to change it, so maybe that's something you can consider. If you do have him standing on the display base, they haven't gone with a crotch grabber. They decided to give us a dynamic flight pole and a waist clamp. In this instance, I'm fine with it, because one of my core issues with the diamond bases is that the connector for a flight pole or a crotch grabber is right at the very back of the darn thing. But if they are going with a dynamic flight pole that you can bend, you can angle it forward and then up so you can have Loki standing smack bang in the middle of the display base. And because his outfit is so layered and it's wired, you can adjust the robes, the bits of fabric, to hide the waist clamp. And there's no screen printing, so it's not going to dig into the suit. It's not going to do damage to his costume over time. Full fabric outfit. This is one of the only Loki figures that you can pose the shit out of. Maybe not his most iconic look. I would either give that to Thor 1 or Avengers 1. Still, this is a badass looking outfit with the green flowing robes and the time streams and the massive, big, shiny gold horned helmet. You can't go wrong with God Loki. If this is your favorite interpretation of him, I don't blame you whatsoever. Now, this is the sculpted hair head sculpt. Once again, I find myself preferring the sculpted hair for some reason. We will talk about the artisan rooted one in just a moment. I'm going to be real with you. I don't think artisan was entirely necessary because, number one, he's wearing a crown that, as far as we all know, is not removable. Number two, the hair is only really visible right up the top and a little bit around the back. I mean, unless you have him facing away from you, then you'll be able to see it all. But sculpting the hairline means that it's going to be perfect every single time, and all of the little strands sticking off from the main bulk of the hair just behind his ears, that all looks perfect sculpted. I don't see any need to go rooted hair and artisan. But still, if you want to, the option's there. As for likeness, it is strong. I don't think it's the best Loki head sculpt I've ever seen. I give that to either President Loki or TVA Loki. Those two are the strongest for me personally. This one still looks bloody brilliant. And it's our first Loki head sculpt with moving eyes, so it does have a lot going for it. The expression somehow throws off the likeness just a touch. I can still tell it's Tom Hiddleston. It screams Loki. It's gonna look dope in the right pose. So this is the artisan one. I don't know what to say. I don't love it. Whatever wool hair they're using just looks very floofy and very voluminous. That is the issue that I've had with pretty much every artisan figure at this point. If you take some time to style it, I'm sure it's going to look absolutely incredible. But right now, it's riding very high off the top of his head, and the widow's peak V taper that his hairline has doesn't come across as well with the rooted hair for me as compared to the sculpted hair one. It makes his head look very tall because of the immense amount of volume on top of his head. The way it curls over his ears just isn't quite right. His full ear is supposed to be exposed, and I know you can style it, you can futz with it, but if this is the prototype on display at Secret Base that is supposed to look perfect, and Hot Toys' track record is that when they release something, it looks worse than the prototype, I am a little bit worried about these artisan figures. I so hope that I'm worrying about nothing. Their WB100 Wonder Woman, granted, did come out fantastic. But she does have very long, wavy hair, and even then, some people got good copies and others maybe not so much. The shorter you go with a hairstyle in 1/6 scale, the more difficult it is going to be to style and to manage and to get it to look good. With a professional styling it, even then, it's a challenge because you can see the prototype on Secret Base. Having the Artisan one right next to the sculpted hair one maybe wasn't the best idea because I do think the sculpted hair Loki shows up the Artisan one just a little. From a distance, it comes across better. I don't know. Maybe it's just not my vibe, I suppose. Likeness-wise, this is the same sculpt as the sculpted hair one, it's just got rooted hair, which does add a touch of realism. It's completely seamless from head to toe, no neck joints visible, no visible wrist pegs, and hidden ankle pegs. This, in the right lighting, if you take time to style the hair and get it to look perfect, is going to be a super convincing figure for figure photography. If you're already trepidatious about jumping into rooted hair with characters like Wonder Woman, trust me, trying to get a shorter hairstyle to look good will probably drive you crazy. Also, 99% of the other Disney Plus figures, especially the Loki line, have sculpted hair. So having one random figure with rooted hair might not work super well. There will be a noticeable difference with one random rooted hair figure surrounded by all these sculpted hair figures. It will either make them look slightly worse, or it'll be the opposite effect. We will literally just have to wait and see because I am jumping in on the Artisan one. I'm hoping that they surpass all of my expectations. They surprise us with a perfect looking Loki right out of the box. Let's call it cautiously optimistic. Now, I'm getting mine from Pop Collectibles. I have popped a link to their site in the description below. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I've also included the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.